Hello, everybody. Scott here. Welcome to the very first episode of my podcast, blog, YouTube channel thing. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Today, so I've decided on a structure. I think I'm trying to do a video every day, Monday through Friday. Maybe sometimes on the weekends. I'm just a little busier then. I do a video Monday through Friday. I'm going to shoot for the videos to be about 30 minutes long. If they're a little short, so be it. If they run longer, so be it. And I'm gonna usually have two parts of the video. I'm gonna have one where I talk about an actual topic. It'll be random. Today is political. It won't always be. Don't worry. There's a topic I want to talk about today that is political in nature, and some of the news that's come out of Washington this Friday. And then after that, I'll answer questions that you guys may have. For those of you watching this video, this is out on my Snapchat. You'll know that I posted something about 30 minutes ago. Sorry for the late notice. I'll usually try to do it like the morning of or the day before. That way I can get everybody's question. So today, to start, I'd like to talk about constitutional procedure, a subject that nobody's ever interested in. Most of my viewers included, probably. You guys can skip ahead if you don't want to listen to my monologue to when I answer the questions. But now I want to talk about constitutional procedure today. And why it is important, why the process for how things get done in Washington is as important as what's actually done. And I say that because this morning, the House of Representatives passed a $2.2 trillion stimulus package. It passed the Senate Wednesday. They passed it to help stimulate the economy in the current recession. As most of you know, the coronavirus has run through America. The whole economy is pretty much on shutdown. And a lot of people are worried about losing their jobs and losing their businesses and stuff. So Congress passed this $2.2 trillion stimulus package. What really caused a lot of anger in both the media and in Washington and the American people today was the stress behind it passing. So the original plan, the Senate passed it 96-0 on Wednesday before they went on recess. They all left Washington. The House was originally going to vote via voice vote, unanimous consent, and such. They have a process where instead of having the whole House in one place, they have a few members, and if they can get it passed by unanimous consent, like nobody in the House at the moment objects to it, and nobody outside the House cares enough to come to Washington to object to it. What was I going to say? They just pass it by unanimous consent. So they don't do a roll call, which is when they actually record who voted yay, who voted nay. Instead, they just say the House at large has passed this bill. And they were going to do that because they wanted to pass it quickly. That way Trump could sign it and go into effect. But then a congressman from Kentucky named Thomas Massie happened. Thomas Massie, he's a Republican from Kentucky. He's very libertarian, very constitutionally astute. And he had an objection to passing this bill, like they wanted to pass it. He would have preferred that they took a roll call, and so he went to D.C. With the threat of calling for a roll call. And if he called for that, and if he called for an actual written vote, then a bunch of these House members from around the country would have had to fly back to Washington. It would have been a health hazard. Most of these congressmen are in their 60s and 70s. They're the most at-risk group to coronavirus. And so, frantically, over the last 48 hours, a lot of congressmen flew back to D.C. anyway. That way they could get it passed today, instead of having to push it off till Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That caused a lot of anger at Mr. Massie, both from the left and the right. On the left, you got a lot of people decrying how he did this. Just the fact that he would hold up D.C. and poor innocent people were dying, and how dare he do this? And you got a lot of on the right too. There were Republican House leadership denounced his move. They denied him the right to speak on the House floor, not citing that there was not enough minutes of debate for him to have even one. And Trump actually tweeted out this morning that he was called him a third-rate grandstander and said he should be expelled from the party and expelled from the House. And a lot of people on both sides of the House sort of agreed with him. They're wrong, and Thomas Massie is right. And as I tweeted out this morning, he is correct, because if Congress wants to spend $2.2 trillion, that is a tenth. I'm going to repeat that, is 1/10 of the entire U.S. GDP. Our entire economic engine, and measured in dollar amounts, is worth about $20 trillion. Congress was about to spend 1/10 of that in one bill. Congress doesn't have that money. They don't cover their bills as it is. This is just going to go straight on the U.S. national debt. It's $2.2 trillion in one spending. And Massey was right to call for a written vote. And like I said this morning, if Congress wants to mortgage our futures, most of my viewers are going to be younger. They are mortgaging our futures by spending this kind of money. Like, the bill comes due eventually. We can't just keep spending and spending and spending forever. And most of these people will be long dead by the time the bill comes due. It'll be us that'll have to deal with this national debt crisis. And so if they want to mortgage our future like that, then they better damn well be ready to vote in person. And Massey's right when he said they should. He's also right in that he made a complaint, and he's correct in that the order in which the House has voted on it was unconstitutional. And it is. Via the U.S. Constitution, the House, any spending bills must originate in the House. This one did. It voted on in the Senate first. That is a breach of constitutional protocol. Nobody in D.C. seems to care except him. But he is right in this matter. He is right. And the reason I bring this up is because this happens a lot in D.C., where something happens and it doesn't happen the right way, but because it happened, everybody cheers. Let's think. I'm trying to think of examples from the Obama era. When Obama joined the Iran nuclear deal, most of you would have been, I was too young to remember that. Most of you would have been too young to remember that happened in 2014, 2015. I didn't really pay attention back then. I'm sure most of you didn't pay attention then. You may not pay attention now. But the deal was supposed to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons, and well, not stop them. It was a green light to get nuclear weapons, but it was supposed to restrict it. And the way it was written would have required the U.S. to spend money, these world countries to spend money, Iran to take in the money, I guess. This national organization to go in and make sure, international organization to go in and make sure they're not building nukes. All things that were hallmarks and characteristics, of a treaty. And per the U.S. Constitution, all treaties must be voted on by the Senate. The Obama administration did not do that. They just entered the deal unilaterally and expected the U.S. to follow. And so what the deal actually was, it was a deal between these other countries and the Obama administration. It was not a deal between the United States and these other countries. It was the Obama administration and these other countries. And so when Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, he was right to do that. Even if you like the deal, that is not the right way constitutionally to get these things done. In the Trump era, we've seen things like this. Trump has bombed Syria unilaterally. He in 2017 and 2018, he bombed Syria, and he did so because he felt that Syria was attacking its own citizens or had attacked U.S. troops. And we did this with Iran in January, if you guys remember. Didn't consult Congress at all. That is unconstitutional. That is a breach of protocol. Even if you like the bombings, which I did, I thought Syria deserved to be bombed both times. Iran deserved to be bombed. They killed U.S. troops in Iraq, not Afghanistan, in Baghdad. Their top military leader deserved to be killed. If we knew who he was, he deserved to be killed. But Trump should have gone to Congress first. Right? Even if you don't, because Congress is authorized to make war. The president cannot do that by himself. Congress must authorize war. There's a process for this. It's called the War Powers Act. It passed in the wake of Vietnam. The president is required by law and by the Constitution to go to Congress and ask for permission to do these things. Now, under the Constitution, Congress would have to actually declare war, but because DC just ignores the Constitution nowadays, the War Powers Act still says he has to get congressional approval before he conducts these strikes. He did not. That was a breach of protocol. As such, he deserved to be impeached for that. He wasn't. He was impeached for other reasons that he was also deserved to be impeached for. But the fact of the matter is, even if you like something that DC is doing, even if you like the president does, whether it's signing a nuclear deal with Iran or entering the Paris Climate Accords and try to impose international regulations on the country, or bombing Syria, or killing an Iranian military commander, or whatever it is, if it's not done the correct way and the correct procedures, it shouldn't be done. Or it should be done, but it should be done through the right manner. Most people don't get that, and the fact that most American citizens don't get that is a severe failing of the U.S. public education system, which will be a topic for a later video down the line. But as it stands, let's look at it this way. If Trump tomorrow came out and raised taxes by himself, like didn't ask Congress, he just raised taxes, told the IRS, okay, now we're going to collect 60% tax from everybody, that would be wrong. We would all be offended because it hurts us personally, right? Like, I don't want him to take 60% of my paycheck. I know any of you with jobs don't want him to take 60% of your paycheck. Why? The question then becomes, why is that wrong and bombing some foreign country not wrong? The response is that it's wrong both times. Americans just don't care. And they should. And I hope you guys get that out of this video, is that you should care. We should give a damn what happens in DC and how it happens. Because even if what they're doing is right, or we like it, the way they do it matters more. Another good example, I forgot to mention this a second ago, that I know a lot of people were upset about, was when Trump declared a national emergency to build a border wall. Now, I made a video on this before. I explained in that video I thought he deserved to be impeached for it then. He still deserves to be impeached for it. The reason I say that is because declaring a national emergency, which is not even a power the president really has, Congress just sort of gave him that power. Again, a video for another time as to whether Congress can do that. Spoiler alert, they can't. Congress has granted the president the power to declare national emergencies, to take money from other funding and put it towards this specified goal. Whatever, we'll let it stand. But doing that, in direct contradiction of congressional wishes, Congress had already voted against funding for that wall, so they've already made it clear that they don't want that money spent on the wall. And then he did it. He did it anyway. It's unconstitutional. It breaks constitutional procedure. It makes the president a king. You know, if the president has this power, then he can do whatever he wants. He doesn't need Congress. He can just spend money however he so desires. And I say that as somebody who liked the idea of a border wall. I still do. I think walls, because walls work. I think the southern border needs more protection. I think that the flood of illegal immigration needs to be stemmed and sort of redirected, and a wall would be one way to help do that. The fact of the matter is, though, the way he did it was wrong, and so I opposed it then. I still oppose it now. Yeah, I just wanted to give that example for those of you who thought I was just ripping on Obama. It goes both ways. Clinton did it, Bush did it, Obama's done it, Trump is doing it currently. No matter what the party is, DC just likes to do whatever they want without regard to the Constitution, and Thomas Massie deserves to be defended, not ripped on for what he did today. If Congress cares so much about the bill, they should have voted on it themselves. They should have had their names written down. That way, 30 years from now, whenever we look back and say, who spent this much money, and mortgaged our futures and put us in this situation, we could call up their names. Sadly, we won't be able to now. The House overrid Massie's objections. They passed via voice vote, so the names weren't written down. But it still stands that Massie was correct. Whatever you read in the newspaper, in the news that Massie was horrible and he shouldn't have done this, he wanted people to die, and he was just grandstanding. They're wrong. He was correct. He was just right. He usually is on these issues. Massie's a good congressman. You should go look him up. He does a lot of good things. He stands for a lot of good principles. He's libertarian. He cares about spending. All these things that we should care about and we should believe. I do believe, and you guys, I hope, do too. Yeah, so that's all I have on that topic. Now let's get to some questions, because I'm sure that's what most of you guys want to watch. I want to watch and answer some questions from you guys, just so you guys see. The shirt says "Don't be Richard." I don't know if you guys can see it on there. I don't know if it's flipped or not. So let's start reading some questions. First question today: who would be better for Kalen, Caden Menace, or Caleb Schulte? I'll be honest, I don't know enough, but I don't know any three of them like at all, or at least well enough to answer this question. People keep asking me to answer this. I just don't know enough about these three people to answer this question. I'm gonna say just Caleb Schulte because Schulte is a better last name than Menace, but I really don't know. Whoever asked this question should give me an update on who these people are and what's going on. I told them I'd make a video specifically on this topic, so later, probably next week, there'll be a video about this question specifically. For all of you who watch The Bachelorette and care, I will do a West Central Bachelorette. Yeah, so I don't know enough about this topic. You're gonna have to cut me some slack on that one. I'll come back to it later. Don't worry. Next question: would you date long distance? The short answer is it depends. I'd certainly be open to the idea. I didn't know who, if I like the person I'm dating long distance and I'm committed to them, moving to Florida and college, different places, certainly. It'd be easier on me than a lot of college kids to do it because I'm going to have money in college, so easier for me to fly back and forth and visit and fly you out there to visit me. But and right now most dating can be long distance anyway, so it's not like it's going to affect me at the moment. Whoever asked the question should just ask me and one-on-one. I would date long distance depending on the circumstances. I'd certainly be open to it. I'm not just going to say no just because. There's that. Third question: were you scared to become a section leader? Yes, I was. Not because I was afraid of the leadership position. I wasn't. I don't. Leadership does not bother me. It doesn't make me scared. Certainly makes me uncomfortable. Let's not twist this anymore, because the weight of the responsibility that rests on your shoulders is rather large in any leadership position, whether it's band or school or work or just life in general. But I wasn't really scared about that part. I was mostly scared because of the shoes I had to fill. So for those of you who are in band and know that Nick Hanberg was section leader the last 2 years for the trumpets, he's a great guy. I think we're good friends. He might tell you differently. I don't know. But we're good friends. He's a great guy. He was a good section leader. And it was just, he had some pretty big shoes that I had to fill. I was scared of that. I was scared I was going to live up to the memory of Nick Hanberg, right? And anybody who's in band, who's in the trumpet section, will know that I have mostly good things to say about Nick Hanberg. He's a great guy, and he was good at what he did, and I was afraid that I wasn't going to fill his shoes. As the year got going, though, it faded, all right? Because every section leader does their own thing. They have a new section. It's not the same as the year before, or the 2 years before, or my freshman year, right? Different things for different people, and so I think I did a good job. I wasn't really scared during it didn't worry me that much during the year. I hope I did a good job. If any of you watching were in the trumpet section this year, you can tell me if I did a good job or not. People watching from the outside might think differently. I don't know. If I didn't do a good job, let me know. But so I was scared mostly because of who I had to replace, not because of any fear of responsibility or leadership or anything. Hopefully that answers your question. Next question: what is your favorite all-time video game? I'm going to be a nerd here, and I'm going to say a computer game that nobody ever plays. It's called Civilization 5. It's a grand strategy game. I'm a nerd that way. I don't play a lot of MMOs or first-person shooters or anything. I play a lot of computer games, a lot of PC games, a lot of grand strategy. So Civilization 5, you start off as one city, as one settler and a soldier back in the year 3000 BC, and it's turn-based, and so you have to build a city and develop your city and sort of move it through the ages and hope that your city doesn't get destroyed. Sorry, I'm looking for something on my phone. Yeah, you just have to hope your city doesn't get destroyed. Everybody. Okay. Yeah, you have to build your civilization. You can found cities. You can build buildings in your cities. Build these great wonders. So you can build like the Statue of Liberty in Paris, for example. You pick a civilization to work with, and sorry, my dogs are barking in the background. So yeah, that's my favorite. You go from the year 3000 BC all the way up to near future, and you can build futuristic tech and stuff. And you have to win victory one of 5 ways, or 6 ways. You can win based on points, or you can conquer the whole world. You can win based on culture, so you can build this great monument and unite the whole world underneath you. You can win diplomacy-wise. You can found the United Nations and get enough votes to make yourself world leader. You can win scientifically wise if you're the first person to send a rocket ship to Alpha Centauri out in space. That makes you the leader of the world. Just different ways like that, different things like that. So I like that game. Another good game, it's called Crusader Kings 2. Another grand strategy game on PC, on Steam. You start as a kingdom in the year 1066, and so you control your kingdom in medieval Europe, and you can marry people off, and you can forge alliances and build dynasties, and get claims to different counties and duchies and kingdoms, and go conquer these kingdoms and fight in crusades. So if you play as a Catholic, as a Christian in Europe, you play as a Catholic, and so you fight in crusades with the Pope, under the Pope's leadership, and you can win countries that way, and you can defend against invaders, and the Mongols invade, the Mongolian hordes invade, and you defend against them. And that's a lot of fun. So you pay from 1066 to about 1453, which for you history buffs out there, that's when the Turks conquered Constantinople. That was sort of the end of the Middle Ages. So yeah, that's a fun game. In terms of Xbox game, I've always liked COD. I played Ghosts when it came out. I liked Ghosts. That was fun. Black Ops 3 is a really fun one. I actually have the new Modern Warfare. I have a lot of fun with that too. I like playing Modern Warfare. I play with some friends online. So, actually, my favorite Xbox game is probably Need for Speed. I have Need for Speed Rivals. I've just always liked Need for Speed. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I apologize. My favorite console game is Dynasty Warriors. It's a game built by Takai, Takei, yeah, and there's another company whose name I forget. It's about the romance of the 3 kingdoms. So there was this time period in China, in which the country had split in 3, and they had these 3 dynasties, and they sort of battled it out. And it's based on historical fact, but it's romanticized. It's actually based on a book that was based on the actual historical events. It's phenomenal. My parents had a PS2 that I still play on. I played Dynasty Warriors 3 and 4 on that. Great game. I have Dynasty Warriors 8 on the Xbox. I played on there too. It's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy the game. So that's my favorite console game, and probably my favorite game overall. Just depending on what I'm in the mood for. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Somebody was texting me a question. I know this is bad form. I'm texting people, but it's a good guy who texted me and asked. So yeah, I'm moving on to the next question. Sorry. Why haven't I made it yet? I think they were talking about the video. I didn't make it yesterday. I was busy. I was doing other stuff, and I didn't really know what to talk about. Don't worry. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm going to go for consistent daily updates Monday through Friday. Maybe make some questionnaire videos Saturday, Sunday. So if you have questions I didn't answer today, I may do a follow-up video tomorrow or Sunday, or open with those questions on Monday. Especially now that we're not going to have as much work. I don't know if the U.S. Central kids saw, we're only going to be 2 to 4 hours of homework every day, so we'll have plenty of free time. So yeah, I'm making the video now. Whoever asked this question, I am doing it. Griffin, just no. I'm not going to read your question off, just no. What is in your opinion is the meaning of life? Okay, thanks, Ethan. Life. That's a good question, and to me, life is. It sounds cliche, but it's about living. Um, for those of you who know me, I like life is good. Life is grand. Um, I just enjoy life. Like it could always be worse. Like right, you could be dead. I say that to a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of you teenagers out there shake your head and say, "How'd that be worse?" Right? But you could be dead. Life can always get worse, no matter how down you are, and how miserable your life currently is. It could always be worse. And I just take the attitude to life in general because I am remarkably blessed. Um, I have good friends. I have a good family. I live in a good place. Life is on the up and up for me. And I know some people it's not, but you should just take the attitude that life could always be worse, and therefore it's good. And you should enjoy living, enjoy the small things. Don't stress yourself out about big plans or big events or your future. Just enjoy day to day because that's really what life is about. It's about the small things in your life that make it bearable. Right? One big event does not make your life complete. A million small things do. So enjoy a million small things that you and get to enjoy along the way. So yeah, life is about living. It's about enjoying what you have, not lamenting what you don't have. As I said in a previous video. Yeah, that's what it's about. Okay, so next question is a big one, which I will be happy to answer. How are you so full of yourself? It's amazing that you're as smart and accomplished as you are, but when people ask about college and stuff, you could pull your head out of your ass and be polite. Unless, of course, people are being bitches. I appreciate this question because it's like a deep question, and I don't know who asked it, so I can't. So the answer to the question is why I'm how not how I guess how am I so full of myself? Just am I guess why is be the better word. No offense. Um, it's a persona thing, right? Everybody has a public image that they try to keep. Whether it's being cool or being a nerd or being a jock or whatever it is that you portray to the world. You know, most people, I won't say everybody. Some people are just who they are. Like Riley Ketchum's a good example. He's my best friend. He's just a good guy through and through. Like on the face of it, he's a good guy. When you get to know him, he's a great guy. Like there's not a lot of hidden behind the surface there. He's pretty transparent. But most people, hide who they really are under some mask, just because they want the world to see them a certain way. Right? It's just human nature. Right? We want to be seen a specific way in the eyes of our peers. For me, it's just always been being an asshole. That's really it. Like that sounds bad. That's my public persona, but that's really it. Is that I've just I just always have portrayed the arrogant asshole. Um, if you talk to any of my good friends, like I'm not like that in private. I'm actually a pretty good guy. Right, if you get to know me. But just my public portrayal is being an arrogant asshole, just because. Um, it do some self reflection here. When I moved up here, I moved from Arkansas, and when I was 11 years old, and kind of lonely. Not really didn't really fit in anywhere. Um, it's just easier to put up a wall and be an asshole. And then as I got to know people, that the wall just never really went away, and now it's just who I am. Right, it's who the world asks me to be, I guess. Um, if I was humble, if I was soft in front of the world, I just don't know if I could do that. I struggle with just being a dude to people I don't know or not good friends with. Um, Subconsciously, it might be because I'm afraid to get hurt, or I want the world to see me as more than I am, whatever it is. Um, so specifically, you talk about college and stuff. Well, college and stuff, yeah, I think I've earned the right to brag about my accomplishments because they're so numerous. And maybe that sounds conceited, and it is conceited. It doesn't sound conceited. It is conceited, but I guess I don't. I honestly don't like to brag. If I have ever arrogance like that about college or something, it's usually facetious. Like Like I'm not really serious about what I'm saying. Like you can get a chuckle out of it, or if you confront me about it, I'll usually make a joke out of it. It's just self-deprecation has always been my sense of humor. I like to put myself down. That's because I think it's funny. People find it funny. I find it funny. And this is the same concept, right? If I'm overly arrogant to the point where I'm a caricature, like I look like a cartoon, it's because I'm doing it on purpose. It's not like I'm actually a caricature, not actually a parody of an arrogant asshole. It's just persona. Um, I don't know who asked this question. I would like to talk to you, like in like one on one, like call or text or something, because obviously you care enough. Because this is not the first time this question's been asked. So obviously you care enough about me to ask why I'm an arrogant asshole. Um, if you're a really good friend, like really close, that's not really me. And if you're not a friend and you don't care, then you probably wouldn't ask the question. So I really appreciate that question because it actually means something to me. Seriously, text me or something when you see this. Like, I'd love to talk to you one on one and get to know you, and that way you can see that I'm not just an arrogant asshole. That there is substance behind the mask. Um, all right, so second to last question. I had somebody text me one. We'll check my Snapchat. What is your opinion on the $1,200 check from the U.S. government? I have two opinions. One, it's probably necessary. I don't like to admit that, but it's not. Okay, so I'll only rephrase that. I'll start with my negative opinion. It's wrong. The U.S. government shouldn't be writing checks to anybody, people, businesses, corporations, countries, nothing. Maybe countries, maybe foreign aid, but the job of the U.S. government is not to do that, especially when they spend taxpayer dollars. Like if I want to give somebody $1,200, I'll do that myself. I don't need the U.S. government to take that money out of my back pocket, take $2,000 out, give $800 to some administrator that I've never met, and then send the $1,200 to somebody else. I'll just give them $1,200. It's more efficient, and it's my money. I'll spend it how I want. That's my opinion on like Social Security and Medicare and food stamps and unemployment insurance. The government is not constitutionally authorized to do that, and it's theft. Like the government is stealing money out of my pocket to give to somebody I don't know 3,000 miles away. If I want to do that, I'll then donate to charity, or just write them a check. I'll give them cash. I'll do that myself. I'll buy them a meal, buy them a house. That's my money. Let me do with it what I want. My second thing is, principles aside, I understand the practicality, that the need for some sort of government stimulus. Not the need, but I understand the perceived need. Right? I mean, it is the government that has caused this problem. The government shouldn't fix it. But if the government is going to do something, which it obviously wants to, then the $1,200 check is the best way to do it. And that should be all it's doing. Like part of this bill was $500 billion to large corporations, like on loans, $350 billion in small business loans, and then the $1,200 checks and other funding. The government shouldn't be doing all that other stuff. Like if it wants to send each American citizen a check, it should just write them a check and that be it. That should be it. They shouldn't do anything else. If you took $2.2 trillion and divided by 350 million, I think it comes out to about $13,000 a person. You can check my math. I read that on something. They could have been wrong, but I think it comes out about $13,000 a person, not a citizen, a person. They could just, if they really cared and they wanted to do something, they would just write us all a $13,000 check and run away. Most of this money is going to corporation stuff, which is not right. But the check part is okay. Direct cash payments is the best way to stimulate the economy. It's better than welfare. It's better than unemployment. It's better than food stamps, right? Because this just allows you to spend the money, no strings attached. And it's not means tested. It's not based on, well, it is sort of based on your income, but it's not really. Unless you make a lot of money, it's not based on your income. It's like a universal basic income, sort of. You guys can look up what that means. I'll make a video about it later. But it really is just, I don't like it, but of all the things government could do, it's the best option. It's the best worst option. We'll say that, which seems to be a reoccurring thing. It's just the best worst option. And I had another question actually. Somebody texted me and asked about my opinion on the U.S. passing every other country and coronavirus cases, which also happened today or yesterday. It's a lie. I mean, it really is. There is no way that America has more coronavirus cases than China does. And if you believe that, you have been fed communist propaganda. The Chinese Communist Party will lie out of their ass to make it look like they're strong, and they're doing stuff. And the fact that the US media repeats their lies as truth is depressing. It's absurd. You should not believe anything that comes from the Chinese government. You should take everything that any government says with a grain of salt, but especially when it's a communist government, you should just ignore it outright. Like, they're lying. They're obviously lying. The reported numbers from China are wrong. China probably has more cases. I mean, most every country probably has more cases than reported because testing is not that good. But I mean, it's not ideal that the U.S. has more cases than any Western country, right? Part of it is population sake. Our population centers are much larger than other countries like New York City, Los Angeles, Seattle, Portland, D.C., you know, Miami. These big population centers are huge. There's millions of people concentrated. But still, I mean, South Dakota's been hit, so it's not like it's ideal. It's just the way the virus is going to work. It's not like it's hard to control these things. And so we should try to flatten the curve, right? Reduce the number of cases. But at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait it out and see. And so while I'm not happy that the U.S. has the most reported cases, again, China probably has more. It definitely has more. It's just the way that the virus has happened. There's not a lot we can do about it except that keep practicing social distancing, stay at home, eat food at home, do your schoolwork, watch these videos, right? I mean, all the basic necessities, all the things you should be doing. You know, that's one of them. Watch my videos. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. If you post a question after this video goes up, I apologize that I missed your question. I will write it down and get to it on another video. Again, I might make a follow-up later tonight or tomorrow on just other questions that I missed. Yeah, but so that's it. I ran a little over 30 minutes. That's fine. Stay safe out there. Don't do anything stupid. All right, just be safe. It's coming from a genius. Don't do anything stupid. All right. Yeah, be safe. Stay inside. Don't get sick. If you are sick, self-quarantine. Don't be a hero, and don't act like you're fine if you're not. This is going to get worse before it gets better, but I'm sure we'll pull through. As always, give me a like. You know, if you liked the video, I hope you guys watched all the way through. Give me a like, give me a subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Again, I'm gonna do this probably 5 times a week, so there will always be plenty of topics. Not all politics related. Again, I've had somebody ask me to do WC Bachelorette. I don't know what to do for that one. I've had questions about video games. I might do a video game review. I can do a book review or TV show, sports, you know. Anything you guys want me to talk about, just send me a question, send me a topic. If I know something about it, I'll talk about it. If I don't know something about it, I'll research it, then I'll talk about it. Seniors, if you West Central seniors, but I guess any West Central kid or any kid still in school, but West Central seniors specifically, there's another video on this channel that I made specifically for you guys. You should get a link to it from the administration next week, but if you're watching this and want to watch it beforehand, it's fine. Just my thoughts on coronavirus and how it affects our grade in our school. So yeah, watch that video. Watch this one. Share it. Give me a follow if you like it. If you don't like it, if you don't like me, if you just watching this laughing at me, still give me a follow. You can share it with all your friends. You guys can all laugh at me together. Perfectly fine with that. All news is good news and all publicity is good publicity. So, you know, share the video. So stay safe again. And always, you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.